Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes today.
Hmm.
We're diving deep into Cixin Liu's Death's End,
Ah,
the grand finale of his Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy. So this one picks up after humanity has weathered that initial Trisolaran crisis,
hmm.
but believe me, the journey gets even wilder from here.
That's right. While the first two books really focused on that immediate threat of invasion, Death's End kind of zooms out. It explores the universe's true nature, and it forces us to confront some chilling possibilities about interstellar civilizations
Yeah,
and really the cost of survival.
exactly. We're talking cosmic horror on a grand scale here, questioning the very nature of reality and existence itself. So before we journey through the book, maybe give a quick overview of the big themes that Liu tackles in this one.
Absolutely. Death's End grapples with the dark forest theory, which suggests that the universe is a dangerous place, and civilizations hide to avoid being destroyed. It also digs into how humanity's morality and ethics evolve when faced with potential extinction. And woven through it all is this exploration of individual choices and how they ripple outward to impact the fate of an entire species.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack, and the way Liu does it across these vastly different time periods
Hmm.
is just masterful. So, okay, the book opens with a prologue, set in 1453 Constantinople. Talk about setting the stage for disaster. We're talking about the fall of a great empire, juxtaposed with this woman, Helena, discovering proof of extraterrestrial life.
And her reaction is so striking. Instead of wonder or excitement, Helena is gripped by terror, and her question, is nature really natural? It echoes throughout the book and hints that the universe might not be as benevolent as we assume. And it really foreshadows the cosmic horrors to come.
Such a chilling opening, especially knowing the wider context of the trilogy. Then we jump centuries ahead to the crisis era, and we meet Yun Tianming, this brilliant astrophysicist who's dying from cancer, and he chooses euthanasia, seemingly a simple tragic story. But with Liu, you always know there's more to it.
Right, it's like he plants these seemingly insignificant details that blossom into these major plot points later on. Like Tian Ming's friend creating that green tempest drink. We don't realize how crucial that becomes until much later.
It's amazing how he weaves those threads together, and during this era, we see humanity reacting to the Trisolaran threat in different ways. So we see what's called crisis infantilism, where people almost regress and become childlike in their denial. And then there's the escapism movement, with people literally buying stars as a way to detach from reality.
And it's within that escapism that we see Tianming gift a star, DX3906, to Chengxin, an aerospace engineer he had a brief connection with. It's a gesture loaded with symbolism, foreshadowing their intertwined destinies and raising questions about the meaning of hope in a universe seemingly on the brink of collapse.
Definitely. And then we're introduced to the Staircase Project. This is humanity's desperate gamble to send a probe to the Trisolaran fleet at a fraction of the speed of light using nuclear explosions. And leading this project is Wade, this figure who really challenges our ideas of heroism. He's ruthless, pragmatic, willing to do anything for survival. He even asked Chengxin that disturbing question, would you sell your mother to a whorehouse? Just to gauge her resolve.
Wade embodies that core dilemma of the book. How far is too far when it comes to preserving humanity? Is he a visionary leader making tough choices, or a monster in the making? The project ultimately fails, but those ethical questions linger.
It definitely makes you think about the compromises we might be forced to make when faced with existential threats. Then the story dives into this concept of time escapism, with people choosing to hibernate, essentially sleeping through the crisis. It's another form of escapism, but with its own set of moral dilemmas, like who gets to decide who sleeps, and what kind of world will they wake up to?
And that question of who controls the future becomes even more pressing when the Staircase Project is revived, this time with the goal of sending a human brain to the Trisolarans. The idea being that even if the body is lost, perhaps the mind can survive and gain some advantage.
And of course, Tianming's name comes up as a potential candidate. The tension just keeps ratcheting up. But then in a twist, it's Chengxin who's chosen and sent hurtling into the future. And we're left wondering about her fate, about Tianming's fate, and what kind of world awaits her.
And just to complicate matters further, we're introduced to the concept of the sword holder. This individual holds the power to activate a system that would broadcast the location of Trisolaris to the entire universe, potentially inviting a devastating attack. It's a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of even the most advanced civilizations in a universe governed by the dark forest theory.
Talk about a heavy burden. Just as we're absorbing all this, the story jumps forward to the return of the Bronze Age spaceship and the horrifying revelation of the quantum massacre. Here, Liu shows us that even when facing an external threat, Humanity is capable of incredible cruelty. The crew of the Bronze Age, stranded for centuries, turns on another ship, the Quantum, reminding us that sometimes we are our own worst enemy.
It's a bleak but important reminder. The technology and progress don't necessarily equate to moral advancement. And as the story moves into the deterrence era, that tension between technological power and ethical responsibility becomes even more pronounced. The swordholder position rotates through several candidates, but it's Luo Ji, a sociologist, who finally figures out how to wield it effectively.
His transformation's fascinating. He goes from this carefree intellectual to a deterrence machine, realizing that the true power of the swordholder lies in silence, in the unspoken threat of mutually assured destruction.
It's a brilliant commentary on the nature of power. Luigi understands that sometimes the greatest strength lies in restraint, in the ability to inspire fear without resorting to violence, and for a while, it works. He establishes this fragile peace with the Trisolarans, buying humanity precious time. But, as we'll see, this peace is built on a foundation of fear and uncertainty, and it can't last forever.
You're right, that sets the scene for what's to come. But before we jump ahead to the broadcast era and all the chaos that unfolds, let's pause here for a second and really unpack this concept of the dark forest theory. It's central to understanding the motivations and anxieties of the characters. And it really pushes the listener to think about the potential dangers of interstellar communication.
Absolutely. And it's a concept that resonates even beyond the realm of science fiction. It makes us question our own assumptions about the universe and our place within it.
Exactly. So tell me, what are the core principles of this dark forest theory, and how does Liu weave it into the narrative of Death's End?
Well, imagine the universe as a vast, dark forest, where every civilization is like a hunter armed and wary. The fundamental premise of the dark forest theory is that communication is dangerous. Any civilization that reveals its location risks being destroyed by another, more advanced one.
It's like a cosmic game of hide and seek, but with incredibly high stakes.
Exactly. And in Death's End, this fear of being discovered, of becoming the prey, it permeates every decision humanity makes. The sword holder, for example, becomes this embodiment of that fear, holding the power to either expose Trisolaris or maintain a tense silence.
And even something as seemingly benign as sending a probe with the Staircase Project, that takes on a new level of risk when viewed through the lens of dark forest theory.
Absolutely. The book constantly reminds us that even the most well-intentioned actions can have unintended, even catastrophic consequences on a cosmic scale.
Which brings us back to the broadcast era. Someone we never learn who decides to gamble and reveal Trisolaris' location to the universe.
And the consequences are swift and brutal. A dark forest strike wipes out Trisolaris in an instant, validating the theory's grim predictions.
It's a horrifying moment, and it triggers a cascade of disastrous events on Earth. The Great Resettlement, forcing humanity to flee to Australia, turns into this chaotic scramble for survival as resources dwindle and violence erupts. And Cheng Xin, awakened from hibernation right in the middle of it all, is thrust into the role of sword holder, a position she never wanted and never prepared for.
She becomes this tragic figure, blamed for the catastrophe and forced to make impossible choices in a world teetering on the brink of collapse. But amidst all the darkness, there's this glimmer of hope, the development of curvature propulsion, the technology for light-speed travel.
It's like this ray of light piercing through the gloom. But of course, it comes with its own set of complications. Building light-speed ships is incredibly resource-intensive, meaning not everyone will be able to escape. And the discovery of those light-speed trails, the death lines that expand and two-dimensionalize space, adds another layer of ethical complexity.
Right. Even those who manage to escape on these ships might be unknowingly creating a larger disaster down the line. It creates this fascinating conflict between the Halo group pushing for lightspeed development as humanity's only hope, and the Federation government trying to prevent societal collapse by limiting access to the technology.
And Cheng Xin, once again, finds herself at the heart of this conflict, desperately trying to prevent a war and find a solution that will save as many people as possible.
It's a testament to Liu's skill as a writer that even amidst these cosmic horrors, he never loses sight of the human element. He forces us to grapple with these ethical dilemmas, these choices that have no easy answers, through the eyes of characters like Cheng Xin, who are just trying to do the right thing in an impossible situation.
And ultimately, her decision to surrender Halo City, to protect the lives of those in the bunker world, even if it means sacrificing the potential for lightspeed escape, highlights that constant tension between individual sacrifice and the greater good.
It's a decision that will weigh heavily on her conscience as she's forced to witness the ultimate horror, the two-dimensionalization of the solar system planet by planet.
It's a scene that's both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Liu's descriptions are so vivid you can almost picture it happening. The planets collapsing into these flat, two-dimensional surfaces, their intricate details revealed in this horrifying spectacle. It's like watching the universe being erased, and humanity is powerless to stop it.
It's a powerful visualization of the fragility of existence, of how even something as vast and seemingly permanent as the solar system can be wiped out in an instant. And as the sun and Jupiter fall into the abyss, only Liu Cixin's late speech ship remains as the last three-dimensional object.
It's a moment of both profound loss and desperate hope. They managed to escape using curvature propulsion, but they've left behind everything they've ever known.
Yeah.
And now they're hurtling towards DX3906, the star that Tianmin gifted to Chengxian all those centuries ago. Remember that seemingly insignificant detail from the beginning.
It's a perfect example of how Liu masterfully layers his storytelling, planting seeds early on that blossom into major plot points later.
But even as they're racing towards this potential sanctuary, there's this lingering sense of dread. What will they find at DX3906? Will it be the haven they're hoping for, or will the universe have one final cruel twist in store for them?
That, my friend, is a question for the ages. So they reach this DS3906 expecting, some kind of safe haven, and what do they find? A light tomb, this black domain sealed off from the rest of the universe.
Talk about a cosmic bait and switch.
It's a brilliant twist, though, and it circles back to that black domain plan discussed earlier in the book. Remember that? The idea was to create these safe zones within black holes, to escape the dangers of the wider universe. But DX3906 kind of suggests that these black domains, they might not be havens at all, but rather isolated prisons cut off from reality.
It's a chilling thought, being trapped in a pocket universe, even if it offers protection from the collapsing cosmos outside. And to make matters even more complex, they encounter a Guan Yifan, another survivor from the Gravity spaceship.
And his insights into DX3906, they add another layer to the story. It's not just one planet, but 4 worlds, each unique, representing this incredible diversity of life that managed to escape the collapsing universe.
It's like stumbling upon a lost Eden, this hidden pocket of existence amidst this vast cosmic graveyard. But of course, there's a twist.
There is. They eventually discover that this entire star system, with its 4 diverse worlds, it isn't just an isolated pocket. It's actually a miniature universe, a carefully constructed bubble within the larger universe.
It's like a Russian nesting doll of universes, each layer containing its own set of rules and possibilities. What are the implications of this discovery? It seems like it throws everything we thought we knew about reality into question.
It absolutely does. It forces us to consider the possibility of multiple universes, each with its own unique laws of physics, and perhaps its own unique forms of life. It also suggests that advanced civilizations might have the capability to create these pocket universes, perhaps as a way to escape a collapsing cosmos.
And Chengxian and Guan Yifan exploring this Trizolaran databank on one of these worlds, they stumble upon this theory about the loss of mass in the universe.
And this is a key concept, because it provides a possible explanation for the universe's expansion and eventual demise. The theory suggests that the creation of these mini-universes, like the one they're in, is siphoning off mass and energy from the larger universe, causing it to slowly bleed out.
So it's not just that the universe is expanding, it's that it's losing its substance, its very essence. It makes the prospect of a big crunch, this cyclical collapse and rebirth, seem less likely.
Exactly. Instead of a dramatic ending, the universe might simply fade away, becoming an increasingly cold, dark, and empty void.
Faced with this bleak outlook, Chengxian and Guan Yifan make a decision that reflects both the depth of their love and the desperation of their situation.
They choose to stay in the mini-universe, sealing themselves off from the dying cosmos.
It's a profound choice, a surrender to the inevitable, but also an act of defiance.
It is. They're choosing to live in this carefully constructed illusion, a bubble of existence that will eventually meet its own end, rather than face the vast emptiness of the dying larger universe.
And their final act, sending that message in a bottle out into the void, encapsulates that mixture of hope and despair. They're entrusting the memories of 2 civilizations, lost in time and space, to the whims of the cosmos, hoping that someone somewhere might find it and learn from their experiences.
It's a poignant reminder that even in the face of annihilation, that human desire to connect, to leave a trace of our existence, endures.
Death's End is a journey through the darkest corners of the universe, but it's also a story about the resilience of the human spirit. It asks us to confront our fears, to grapple with the big questions of existence, and to find meaning in a universe that often seems indifferent to our fate.
It's a book that will challenge you, provoke you, and stay with you long after you finish reading it.
We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into Death's End. It's a book that rewards multiple ratings and deep contemplation. And as always, we encourage you to continue exploring the universe, both through the pages of great books and in the vast expanse above us. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep wondering.